So we're talking about ghosts, right?
So the question is, do I believe in ghosts?
No, not at all.
Ghosts.
I'm gonna make this real simple. There's no such thing as ghost. Okay?
I believe in them, but I don't want to mess with them. Don't necessarily have any story regarding them, but definitely want to respect the dead.
I think there's enough evidence that they potentially exist. I think that you hear enough ghost stories over the years, there's got to be something credible to it. So yeah, I'd say I do. I do believe in ghosts.
I don't know if I believe in ghosts or not, but I'm not looking to meet one ever.
When I was maybe about 12 or 13 years old, I shared a room with my older sister, and we had a closet that was right in front of my bed. One day we were going to sleep, and I woke up with sleep paralysis. And when I woke up and opened my eyes, I saw a shadow standing at the closet door. And so I'm freaking out, I'm trying to move, I can't move, so I close my eyes again, and when I open my eyes, the demon or whatever it is literally over my stomach, looking like it's like sewing something on me. And I close my eyes, I eventually fall back asleep, and I wake up, and it's not there, but a very traumatizing thing that happened in my childhood.
I had never met my grandmother before she passed away, but when I was younger, I would always say, "Oh, who's that woman over there?" And I would describe her perfectly, my granny, what she was wearing, what she looked like, her hair in rollers. And my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's your granny." I don't know if it's ghosts, but it's definitely some kind of spirit out there.
Right after my husband's father died, our cat would stare off into a certain space in our house, and it seemed like the cat was seeing something that we couldn't see. And since it happened so soon after his dad died, the thought was that maybe the cat was seeing the ghost of my husband's dad, who was appearing there in our house. So our youngest child, when he was young, he would say, "Mommy, are we gonna go to the blue house? Are we gonna go to the blue house?" Or, "Mommy, what about the water? What about the water?" Almost like he had lived like a previous life or was seeing some sort of past experience, to the point that it was, I mean, he was like a year and a half, 2 years old, that it was freaky that he would keep talking about this house that we'd never lived in, that didn't exist, or about being in the water. "Mommy, I'm in the water, I'm in the water." And we couldn't ever figure out like exactly what he was saying or what he was talking about, or like what the logical reason for it would be. Children, you know, are more susceptible to these things. So maybe he has some sort of like past life experience or some sort of interaction with a realm that we're not aware of or anything.
Do I believe in ghosts? Oh, I haven't really thought about this before. I don't think so. I think that I'm more of a realist. I'm not gonna get spooked by anything that tries to come at me. So no, I don't believe in ghosts.
I feel like I actually saw a ghost back at the old farmhouse back in the day. Like, it was my great-great-grandpa. No one believed me, but then I described like what I saw. He was in a wheelchair. It was the scariest thing ever. It might have been a figment of my imagination, but the fact that I matched it to what he actually looked like kind of creeps me out. So I actually do believe in ghosts.
I went to the Lunt Mansion expecting to get the heebie-jeebies. It didn't happen. Doesn't mean that I don't believe, they just were afraid of me.
In 1992, I was dating my wife. She had an apartment built in the 1920s. She called and she said, "Did you move all my little figurines on my nightstand and put them under the bed in a line?" I said, "No." So I just left. And she said, "Well, that's weird. When I woke up, they were all in a line." I guess I did that when I was sleepwalking. I said, "Have you ever sleptwalk?" "No." I said, that just feels really weird. Because the day before, she came home and there was a fountain pen on the same nightstand from like the 1920s or 30s. It was a vintage fountain pen. And that just showed up. And nobody was in the apartment, and that just showed up. I said, "You know, this place feels haunted to me."
So I do not believe in ghosts. Haven't seen enough evidence, but there was one moment in my life where I legitimately thought I saw one. It was in this old commercial building that I own. It's an old elementary school building, and this was 10 years ago. It was shortly after I bought the place. It was one night, it was right around midnight. I was going around checking the doors, kind of locking things up, and I heard a vacuum running. And I looked down the hallway, and maybe a couple lights were on in the background, but it was mostly dark. And I saw a vacuum cleaner moving back and forth in the hallway with just a hand attached to it. I could see nothing else. It was a hand moving the vacuum cleaner back and forth with seemingly no person attached to it. My heart kind of sank. I was like, ooh, wait, what is that? And I kind of just went back upstairs and, finished locking up and got out of there. I found out that one of my commercial tenants in the building has a custodian who likes to clean at night and didn't like turning all the lights on, so, and he was just wearing all black that day, apparently. So that explains it, but for a moment there, I saw a disembodied hand vacuuming down the hall.
I do not believe in ghosts. I feel like every story you hear about ghosts, they're always like hovering or doing something to that effect. They're never aging or eating or going to the bathroom. And I just think that it's all in your mind. There's no scientific data to back this up. I think you can believe in souls like I do without believing in ghosts. If you want to believe in ghosts, that's your prerogative, that's fine. I need proof, and there's no scientific proof of this.
True story, I grew up in a historic home where every single night, and I swear this is true, absolutely nothing ever happened, because ghosts aren't real.
Another month goes by. I walk in and she kind of looks pasty white, my future wife. And I said, "You okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, I just saw something. I was doing my makeup and I was looking in the mirror, and the full-length mirror back there in my closet," she goes, "I saw a man in the mirror." And I started hair going up. And I said, "What kind of man?" She goes, "It was just a man, but he was wearing like a zoot suit, like from the 1930s, had a big hat, had the pearl down the leg." She goes, "It was so real that I screamed because I thought there was a man in my bedroom." My roommate came running in because I was so scared, and she's like, "When I turned around, he was gone." Her mind, this place is still not haunted.